Hello, everybody, and welcome to this live stream. We'll give folks a couple more minutes to file on in, but this should now be live on Facebook as well as my personal LinkedIn and YouTube, as well as Twitter, X, and Instagram. So, yeah, really excited to have everybody here with us today. My name is Sam Chlebowski, for those who don't know. I am one of three co-founders here at Motion.io. And we have had just a really exciting month of product updates. And some of the things that we're going to cover today have been by far our most requested features and functionality. So I'm excited to show you more here today. And as you have questions, if you want to know how something works, if you want to know, hey, why did we build this way, or how do I use this specific way? Please let me know right in your comments. I will be responding to all of those in real time. But yeah, as I mentioned, we'll just give it just another minute or so here for people to file in. And yeah, really excited to dive in with you all here today. If you haven't noticed too, I got this fancy new background, trying out some new techniques as I do more of these. So it kind of went with the little, news anchor set today. But, this StreamYard software, it's really cool. I've really been liking using it. It's really fun to play around with. So, well, good stuff. I see that we have some people joining us now. So let's go ahead and dive on in here. And the first thing we're going to be talking about here today, and probably the biggest feature that we'll cover, are going to be our internal task enhancements. And this is something I'm really, really excited to tell you all more about. So let's go ahead and let's jump into Motion.io, where I'll be able to show you around. So let's talk a little bit about internal tasks. And the first thing that I want to mention about internal tasks in Motion.io is that previously, when we had built this feature, as with so many things we do here at Motion.io, we wanted to start with a smaller step and have kind of an iterative process. So if you had been using Motion.io before this new feature came out, you may have noticed that internal tasks, while they were really great at allowing you to be able to communicate to clients what you and your team were working on, one of the things that you couldn't really use them for yet was doing things like assigning private hidden tasks to your team members or sharing files with your team members. I am thrilled to share that this is now possible with the changes that we have made to internal tasks. So I'm going to go ahead and go into one of my projects here and just show you what internal tasks look like now and how they work, because there's a bunch of cool things that you can do with them. And this really signifies our first couple of steps, being able to provide a solution that allows you to manage both the internal aspects of a project, meaning all of that communication amongst your team, the things that you're sharing, the things that you're responsible for, as well as client-facing tasks, action items, and communication, all in one platform. And the way that we've built our internal task functionality, there are going to be a lot of businesses out there where you maybe don't even have to use a separate project management tool from now on. There are cases where maybe if you have a larger organization, you're using something really robust that you've built out over months or years, like an Asana, Monday. Maybe you want to keep using that and you still have Motion.io do an excellent job streamlining your onboarding, automating client action items. But I got to say, for many of the people that have been using this new functionality so far, they've found that they've been able to actually manage both sides of the project and move away from their ClickUp, their Monday, their Asana, or whatever they've been using for that. So let's go ahead and let's just quickly show you the process of creating an internal task. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just, there's some tasks built out in this project here already. You can see one is labeled internal, but I'm going to go ahead and create a new task just to show you what this process looks like. So I'm in here in this existing project that I've set up. Just one note too, you can also create internal tasks in your project templates. It's not limited to just active projects in Motion.io. And the process is very, very similar. So I'm going to go ahead and create just a new task here in this onboarding stage. And if you're not familiar with this already, you'll notice that at the upper right-hand corner of Motion.io's Task Composer, I have the option to change this to an internal task. And once I do, the Task Composer that you see, that you may be familiar with, it changes to this new task builder. And something to point out about the way that internal tasks work is when you're creating them, you set a assignee, and those assignees can only be you and your team members. So I have just one other member of my team. You'll see me right here, and then I also have my fake team member named Sarah, and I can assign this to both of us or just one of us. In this area, the title here, this is going to be what the client can see. And the title and the description are going to be the only thing that they have access to in their portal. So let's say, I wanted to call this, what could we do for this project? This is a pay-per-click style project. So let's go ahead and name this. Let's just say we want to review creative inspiration. Let's say, in this onboarding form, we collected some inspiration from the client. I could add a quick description here for the client. I could say, after providing us information in your onboarding, we'll come up with some ideas for your new ad creative. So cool. So this title and the description, the client can see this, but then where internal tasks get really, really cool is everything below this is going to be entirely hidden from the client. So anything I add here, we try and make it really super clear for you, but anything that I add here is not going to be visible to the client. And I can do things like attach files. So let's say that the client provided me some brand guidelines. I can go ahead and upload those here. And we can do this as a part of the review process, just to have that record of that information. And then we can also add private subtasks. And this, in my opinion, is really the most powerful part of our new internal task functionality, because it's what people had been asking us for so long. Hey, how can I create tasks that remain hidden from my clients? And the way that we've chosen to do this is through subtasks. So with Motion.io, we've taken a very intentional approach of, hey, it's important that if you're assigning things to other members of your team, they're almost always going to be associated with something else that's going on in the project, whether it's a deliverable or whether it's a launch or whether it's development of some new initiative. So that's why these subtasks are a part of a larger internal task that the client can see. So the client can only see the title and the details. They can't see any of the information that I'm adding here. So for example, for a subtask, I could say review brand guidelines. And that was that brand guidelines PDF file that I attached. With subtasks, you can also add due dates to them. So let's say, we needed to get this done by next week so we can start building out the client's creative. So I set that due date here, and then I can also add assignees. For this, because it's kind of more of like a team effort that we're doing, I'm going to assign myself to it, but I have put both myself and my team member on this task. And then the same way that you're able to set due dates for client tasks in Motion.io, I can also set a due date for this task. And this due date, the client will see this due date, but they won't see any of the due dates associated with the subtasks. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Oh, and then one other thing too, you can also set up automations, and I will show you that in a second. But I'm going to go ahead and click Save on this task. And then we'll go ahead and see what this is going to look like to the client. So I'm just going to pause there real quick. If you have any questions, I would love to have you chime in. Let me know what you have questions about so far. We'll be going through a lot today, so I'm going to stop a couple times and ask if there are questions you have about this functionality, because there's a lot here, and there's a lot of cool things that you can do with it to really streamline your project management and project communication. So let's go ahead now, and I'm going to jump back into my Motion.io account. And let's go head over to the My Tasks view. So what you'll see is that when you create internal tasks in projects and set those tasks to active, what we now have available to you is a brand new view called My Tasks. And that's what we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk a little bit about that next. Walk through that process of creating internal tasks. And I think it's a natural leap to say, hey, how do I manage these tasks? Can I see them in one place? And that was a big question we had actually before developing this feature, as we were talking with some users, is like, hey, when I do have tasks that I'm able to assign to team members, I want to be able to manage those in one place. And that's exactly what this new view that I'm going to be showing you does. So let's go ahead and jump into the My Tasks view. And what you can see now here, I clicked on My Tasks over here for my left-hand sidebar. And on this page is where I can see every single task that's been assigned to me across all of my various projects. I can also quickly filter between tasks. I can look at draft tasks. You'll see I have just a bunch of tests in here from just some playing around I was doing before I hopped on here, as well as I can look at overdue tasks, which there are none at the moment, and then completed tasks. So this tasks view, this My Tasks tab over here, really serves as your home base for managing tasks as you go through your projects. And as I click into individual tasks, and let's just go ahead and I'm going to click this provision ad accounts task. And this is for another PPC project we were doing for a client. This is an example I use a lot just because we have a lot of clients who are marketing agencies. But all of the features you'll see today, they can really be used in a similar way, whether you are a accounting firm, whether you are landscapers. We have interior designers using us. We have a number of different businesses using us, real estate agents as well. But I often gravitate towards marketing agencies, so things like PPC, campaign setup and management, as well as web design, which is what I did before Motion.io in a prior business that one of my co-founders and I had. But what you can see here now is that I clicked on this task, this provision ad accounts task, and you'll see that there have been some tasks in here that have already been completed. One of the really fantastic things about this new functionality is that in addition to being able to assign tasks and check them off, you're also able to have private comment threads with your team members. And you can see that here. So this is a common situation, something I've personally run into, hundreds of times before working with clients where, hey, you're supposed to do this thing, produce this deliverable for a client, but you don't have all of the information you need quite yet to be able to do that. So you can see now here that I commented to my colleague Sarah. I said, hey, where are we on the LinkedIn ad account setup? I know you were waiting on some information. Sarah gets tagged in this comment. She'll be notified immediately when she is. And she's responded. She says, hey, I'm still waiting. I reached out today, but they still need to add me as an authorized user. Let's say, Sarah then, got that information from the client. She could very quickly come back in here, and I'll just do this on her behalf for right now. But she could very quickly come in and mark this task complete, which is going to enable or going to show this then as completed in my tasks view. Something you may have also noticed is that, let's say a team member completed something or completed a task, but there was something else that was needed. There was something either missing or the client requested after the fact. What you can do with internal tasks is you can actually request changes on this. And if there was something that wasn't included, maybe Sarah said, hey, this is set up, but it isn't. I could leave her a note here and she would be notified of those changes that I'm requesting. For example, like let's say that this was the wrong LinkedIn ad account. Like it was supposed to be for one company or one person, it was for another one. And so I'll leave her a note requesting changes and say, hey, it looks like there are multiple ad accounts associated with that profile. Can you confirm with the client? And sorry about my noisy mechanical keyboard if you're able to hear that on your end. So cool. And now Sarah has this log in the comment thread, again, only visible to her, where she can see that those changes were requested. And I could even, too, if I wanted to, just unclick this and set it back to active. So that is really, both internal tasks and then the My Tasks view in a nutshell. As I'd mentioned, let me know if you have questions about this. It's really powerful, really cool new functionality, and we're just so excited to be able to bring it to you all, whether you are an existing Motion.io user or you have yet to try us out. It's something that has been, like I said, requested so many times, and we couldn't be more thrilled to have it available now. So, and also another thing too, when I did request changes, you'll notice that it changed that task status to incomplete. The way that I changed this to then complete, like let's say if Sarah had gone in and then done this and it was all good, after completing that private subtask, this task in my Tasks view would automatically update to completed. And then also, too, as I mentioned, you're able to attach files to these tasks. This can be really useful for things like deliverable files. So, for example, let me just hop into a project here. If there were, some ad creative we had to build out for a client, and I'm just going to give this a quick title. I'm going to assign it to, got to turn on that internal task toggle. I'm going to assign it to both Sarah and myself again. Oh, made a little typo there. And I can do design, IG, FB, ad creative, campaigns for, Instagram, Facebook. And then let's say, I could call this also design YouTube ad creative. So I've created these subtasks, and obviously there's nothing to attach right now, but what we could then do is, once this task was assigned and sent, you could very quickly come back into it and attach those deliverable files so we have a quick record of them. So I'm going to attach the ad creative image as well as the video file that we've been working on for the client. Click save. And then on my end, come back here. And great, I can see these files have been attached, and we can go ahead and click done, mark task as completed, and good to go. So we have a question from Deckard and Company, and it's a question about recurring tasks. And the question is basically, are you planning on bringing in recurring tasks? That's a really great question. I appreciate you asking it. Recurring tasks is something we get the occasional request for. Definitely the higher number of requests have been for this internal task functionality. as well as some improvements to our signatures and contracts, as well as payments have been another high priority action. We've discussed recurring tasks a couple of different times. It is something on our roadmap, but not something we've prioritized just yet. That said, our team at Motion.io, we are totally user customer first. And if we start seeing that more and more people need recurring tasks set up, it's something we are 100% open to bumping up in that priority list. So definitely let us know. Recurring tasks, I will say there are a few different, workarounds for those right now, especially using things like Motion.io's built-in automations. What you can do, and I'll just create a new project here to show you quickly, a nice little workaround for recurring tasks. So I'll just create a new project in here. I'm just going to call this recurring tasks example. And I'm going to show you how you can use automations to create recurring tasks in a sense. I know it's not exactly probably what you're looking for at the moment. As I said, it's something that we definitely have on our roadmap. But one option you can do is, let's say I have a form that a client needs to fill out every week. Let's just call this review monthly report. What you can do here is, submit monthly report. There's a way that you can basically set this up. So you can have a form that you attach, and I'm just going to choose just a random form here. And what you can then do is quickly duplicate this task. So, I could even call this, if I wanted to, 1 monthly report 1, and then I could go ahead, quickly duplicate this, submit monthly report 2. And what you can do is you can set up automations within these tasks to trigger these sequentially. So again, like I said, maybe not exactly what you're looking for at this time. We're definitely going to build that feature. But this is a decent workaround for the time being, where I can activate this task, the second monthly report task, once the first one has been completed. So it is a nice way to kind of handle things and automate the process now, but we'll definitely be making it more robust as we move along. Another thing I wanted to point out about our internal task functionality is you're also able to create internal tasks within templates, and you can do that almost the exact same way that you create tasks or create internal tasks in your active projects. You'll see it's the exact same task builder. And then I also promised I was going to circle back to this, is you can create automations associated with your internal tasks. And the reason why I think that this feature is so beneficial and so powerful is what you can do is I can have this task triggered after the client completes all of those dependent tasks that I need completed. So I just created this quick internal task. I'm not going to add any subtasks to it for now, just to show you a very quick example. But what I can do is click this little lightning bolt icon, and I can actually activate this task, which is automatically going to assign it, send it, and add it to my tasks view as soon as another task is completed. So let's say, as soon as this first invoice is paid, great, we can start designing the client's first draft. I've set up an automation that will allow this to happen as soon as that invoice is paid. And this is just a really great option because it enables you to avoid manually assigning things, having to go in every morning and update things, change the status, set assignees, and a really powerful way to just streamline your project workflows in Motion.io. And Deckard & Company, thank you so much for the notes. it's really good to know that recurring tasks are such an important part of your business. Definitely going to make a note of that. And I know that both of my co-founders are watching this live stream as well. So they have definitely heard that feedback, and we'll be sure to keep you updated as to when we plan on building out that functionality. So thanks for the suggestion. Also, a reminder too, for anybody watching this, tune in with your questions. Happy to show you anything in Motion.io, even if it's unrelated to some of the features and functionality that I'm talking about today. With that said, since we don't have any questions at the moment, I'm going to go ahead and let's talk about another piece of really cool functionality that we have added in terms of internal project management in Motion.io. And that is internal project notes. So this is another thing that has just been requested so many different times by our users, and we could not be more thrilled to be able to offer it now. And what the internal notes allow you to do, and I'll show you in just a second what it looks like within Motion.io, but the project notes now enable you to leave notes within projects that only your team members have access to. So you can do things like SOPs in project templates. You can take notes of the various calls and conversations you're having with clients, all in a way that remains entirely hidden from your client. And this was actually something, just for a little peek behind the curtain here. We actually didn't include this in our release notes initially. It was done literally the day after I did our release notes and we made our big announcement. So I've actually went back and updated our release notes with this. It's just amazing the speed at which my co-founder and our CTO, Zach, is able to develop this new functionality, because it was like, hey, we had the new My Tasks view, the new internal task enhancements, and then, just a day and a half later, this internal project notes functionality was added to Motion.io. So let's go ahead and show you what that looks like, and I'll give some examples of the ways that you can use it. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to show you first what internal project notes look like in templates. So if I wanted to add a note for a project note that only my team members and I have access to an active project, I just click on a project from my dashboard and then hit this drop down labeled More and select Notes. And this is a brand new option that you'll see in the top navigation area of every project. So you'll see here, it looks pretty simple at first. All there is a button that says Add Note, but there's a lot of powerful things that you can do with this. So let's say I just wanted to take notes of a call that happened with Larry from Larry's Laundry. I could very easily do so. I'm going to give this note a title. I'm going to say Call on 7/2. I could add some details here. Larry and I discussed the new website. Here's another site that he likes. And I'll just go ahead and I am going to simply paste in the Motion.io website, because you'll also notice that there is a rich text editor here. And that allows you to embed links. If I also wanted to, I could add photos. I'll just use a quick example. Let's just use a photo from my computer, which is the background that I'm displaying now. But yeah, you're able to add links. You can also change the formatting of these. If I wanted to, add a headline, I can change this to heading 1. So a bunch of different things that you can do with this. And we included that rich text editor just so you're able to style notes in the way that you wanted, add lists, like I said, embed links, upload photos, things like that. So while you can use internal notes for your active projects, you're also able to use them for your project templates. And within your project templates in Motion.io, internal notes work very much the same way. So, well, this example, I put some notes about a call that I had with this client on a specific date. You can also add notes at the template level. And this is really useful for things like standard operating procedures. You know, that common scenario where you have things that you need to do for a specific type of project, and you have team members that might not know those processes as well as you do, whether you are an owner, or a COO, a CEO. There's times that it's really helpful for employees or anybody else working with you, contractors, for example, to have a record of like, hey, what are the things that I do on a project? What does this specific type of project look like? Because those types of things can become, it's hard to remember them if you have multiple types of projects that you're running. For example, if you are a marketing agency and you do website redesign, but then you also do video content creation for a client, your employees, people working with you, might not remember the specifics of each type of project every time. And that's what project notes are really great for. So I'm going to go in here to this one template that I've created, and I'm going to go ahead and click edit on that template. And you'll see once I'm in here, I have that, I don't have that more drop down, but there's just a primary top navigation menu called notes. And what I've done in this template already is I've added some SOP documentation for the onboarding stage of this project. If I wanted to add another note, I certainly could, but I'm just going to leave this one note in here for now. And let's go ahead and create a new project from this template. So back on my project dashboard, I'll click Create Project, select that template, and I'm just going to call this Example Web Design Project. Whoops. Set myself as the owner of this project. Go ahead and click Create. And now you'll see that in addition to pulling in all of my various tasks and project stages, as well as my customizations to this portal, I also have now in this template, or in the project I created from this template, that onboarding stage standard operating procedure document I created was automatically pulled in. So when I go and add my other team members to this project, they will have access to that as well. And it's as easy as that. So with this notes functionality, it's a really powerful way. It provides you a bunch of flexible options. And then another thing to point out is that when you add project notes to templates, you're not limited to just that one note or just those notes that you've added to a template. You can add additional notes as the project goes on. So whether there were some design decisions you wanted to log, whether you wanted to record information about, a website domain and email setup, basically anything that happens throughout a project, you can create project notes for. And this is really useful functionality in our mind, and already the things that we've been hearing from our users about it, because what it allows you to do is between our project notes, between the new internal task enhancements, as well as the new functionality that we've added there, you're able to just live and breathe entirely in Motion.io. Don't need to have separate spreadsheets, email threads, software applications you're using. We've added all of this functionality with the sole intention that you are able to do everything you need to do in a day directly from Motion.io. And we're only going to be expanding on this as time goes on. A lot of this stuff we've added is kind of just like that first initial step. But that said, we're already hearing from users that, hey, even what we've added so far has accomplished that goal. So hopefully it does for you. And as I mentioned, we're going to be continuing to add new features, new functionality as time goes on. So definitely be sure and let us know. We'll be really excited to hear from you, see how you're liking it, and see what suggestions you have. If there's any questions about anything that I covered so far, just for a quick recap, we talked about our internal task enhancements. We talked about the new My Tasks view that allows you to manage all of the tasks you've been assigned through one dashboard, as well as internal project notes. Moving ahead, what we're going to talk about now is another feature. It's a little bit separate from the day-to-day project management, but it's also really great sort of internal only facing functionality that we've added to Motion.io with this update, and that is internal notes on Helpdesk tickets. So this has actually been in Motion.io for a little while, but if you haven't seen it yet, what you're able to now do in your Helpdesk tickets in Motion.io is you can actually have private discussion threads with your customers. So this is an example that I created previously just to show you how this works. You'll see that this is a task that I have been, or a ticket that I've been assigned, where Mariah from Moxie Beverage Co., she asked about Reddit ads. In this scenario, they signed up originally. They didn't sign up for a package that included Reddit ad setup and management, and they since want to add that service to their package. So you'll see Mariah wrote in and said, hey, could we add Reddit ads to our package? I said, great, thank you. What I then did is I just toggled over here to internal notes, and I tagged my team member, and I said, hey, can you create a task for Sarah hey, Sarah, can you create a task for Mariah from Moxie Beverages to fill out the order form? And she says, great, cool, I'll do that now. And now that that has since been completed, I can go ahead and close this out. So these internal notes, this is a feature that exists in some other Helpdesk platforms you might have used. But the great thing about it is it's all within Motion.io. So we've really been expanding on our Helpdesk functionality to make it more powerful, more helpful for a wider variety of teams. And this internal team notes functionality is just a fantastic example of that. So great, and that does it for kind of the main parts of what I wanted to get through in this live stream and the new features and functionality that I wanted to show off. But there is something additional that was also added a while back that I think is worth pointing out in addition to what we've covered so far, and that is going to be custom fields. This is another one of those things that we just could not be more excited to bring to the platform. What custom fields in Motion.io enable you to do is to set values and set custom fields that will dynamically populate with whatever content you want in a project. And if this sounds confusing, I promise you it's actually a little bit more straightforward than it sounds once I'm able to show you how it works. So let's go ahead and dive in. So what you will notice now is if you come to the settings page of your account, you have a new tab on your team settings that is titled Fields. What you can do from this Fields tab is you are able to create these custom fields that you can then populate dynamically with specific information, content, websites on a per project basis. So a great example of a field that I created in here is a client Google Drive folder. So I've created this field at the account level, and I can now specify a value for it within an individual project. And creating a new field, just for a quick refresher, it's as simple as clicking Settings, going to Fields, and then adding the new field that you want to add. The title for that field, or the label, help specify for your team what that field should be used for. So, just for a quick example, let's call this client website. And then the information in the brackets is how you dynamically populate that field within your tasks, your portal pages. And to do that, you just add double brackets behind it. And great, you'll see, cool, that field has been added. So to show you a real life example of this, let's say in my web design project, after the client, and I'm going to actually just quickly archive these two projects to move them out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead into this website design project. And let's say that once this website's ready to go live, this website for Larry's Laundry, I have a couple of tasks where I need to include that client's website. Because I'm doing things like I'm saying, hey, your new website is live, go check it out. And I want to populate it automatically within a task or a portal page. So I could go ahead and just paste in a URL here. And then I can go ahead and copy this custom field. And anywhere, so once I specify the value for that custom field, anywhere it was added to their project, it would automatically populate. So let's go ahead and just quickly create a task that says view website. This is so, and another note about custom fields is that they'll work in both the description as well as the website embed area. So you can just paste that code here. And what you'll notice here is that once I view this portal as a client, and I just have to open up a different tab so I can view this as a client. One second here. I also forgot that I needed to send this task to the client here quick. Yeah, and so once this is added, this is going to automatically populate the client's website. When you are viewing a task, one just quick thing to note is you're just going to see the custom field slug there. You're not going to see what that actually populated with, but the client on their end will see that website that I added using that custom field. So one other thing to point out about custom fields is that there's a really cool way that you can use them if you are doing things like embedding Google Drives in different areas. And I think I have an example of this actually. Oh, yes, I do. Sweet. If you are embedding things like Google Drive folders in portal pages, you can actually use custom fields to dynamically populate things like a Google Drive folder in your client-specific project. We have a great article actually up on our support desk, or sorry, on our website that explains how you are able to do this, which I will link to. 1 second, I'll throw that in the chat here. Because what you can do is using custom fields plus Zapier is actually add dynamically Google Drive folders to your various projects and portals in Motion.io. And you can see here we have just some quick examples of it. But basically what this enables you to do is anytime, and I don't have a Google Drive link handy, I'm sorry about that, but I can show you the screenshot from our blog post, is basically anytime I set this custom field value, I can have Zapier automatically create a new folder for the client and then add that folder to every new project I create. And right here's a good example of what that looks like. So hope that was helpful. Custom fields, there's just a world of possibilities with them. And it's something that, we're really excited to be able to offer. There's a number of other things that you can do with them, such as, and I even have a few examples of that in my account here. where I have different custom fields for things like a client spreadsheet, a client landing page, but you can do things even simpler with that. Like if you want to only populate a client's first name, you could create a field for client first name, and then, you know, call it just first name. And great, anywhere that you use this and you've set that custom field value, it will automatically be pulled into the project. A few other things I wanted to mention as far as, you know, major updates and improvements we made to Motion.io is that we've also expanded on a number of different features that were part of Motion.io already, but as with every major release we do, we always circle back to existing pieces of functionality and work to improve those. So just because we're adding a bunch of new things doesn't mean we have forgot about all of the great stuff we've added to Motion.io in prior months. A couple quick things to point out is one of the things we've recently changed within projects is every project that is created in Motion.io and every portal that you give clients access to now features a folder that is called My Uploads. And what this folder does, and I've previewed this portal, I'm just going to toggle over to my other tab. What this folder does is it allows your client to have access to any of the files that they've uploaded immediately upon upload. So with our recent changes to the folders, anything you can add, any files that your team uploads, you have the choice whether to display those or not to the client by adding them to this client portal folder. But anything that your client uploads, they automatically have access to within this new My Uploads folder. As with previous versions of our file management, you are still able to create folders of your own, and any files that your client or your team uploads are automatically grouped into these hidden folders under all files that only you and your team members can access. But if you did want to create new folders and subfolders specifically for your client, you're able to do so. Let's call this one Client Deliverables. And I can then quickly add files to this folder just by selecting them from the All Files area and then adding them to that file. And then if I toggle back to the client's view of their portal, you'll notice that, cool, those files that I wanted to give clients access to, I was ready to give them access to, are now added to this custom folder I created under Client Deliverables. So that about does it for, oh, and I just realized that I was not even sharing my screen for part of that. If you, just for a quick recap, so sorry about that, toggling between too many tabs at once here. This is what that files area that I was talking about, what that looks like now, where you can see that in this client's portal, there's My Uploads where they have all of the files that they've uploaded, as well as a client portal folder that has those deliverables that I chose to give them access to. So yeah, sorry about the confusion there. With that, we got about 10 minutes left here in this live stream. Hope you've all enjoyed learning about these new features and functionality. Please let me know what questions you might have. I'll be hanging out as long as there are questions, so I can stick around for a couple of minutes. And yeah, feel free to chime in. Would love to learn more about, you know, what you think of this new functionality, your feedback, as well as anything that you would like to know how to use in terms of the new features and functionality that we've discussed here today. In the meantime, I can talk about just a couple of new and exciting things that we do have planned for Motion.io in the coming months. One of the cool things we are working on right now is actually a WordPress plugin. It's going to be really cool. I just saw a initial development version of this yesterday. But if you are a marketing agency, or even if you are any other type of business that has a portal that is built on WordPress, we are actually building this plugin that's going to enable you to embed a Motion.io client portal directly in a WordPress website. And the reason why we're developing that is we have a lot of folks that are using us that build websites on WordPress. And plus, we're also going to be attending a conference actually in September where we will be attending the WordCamp 2024 conference. So very excited about that as well. And it was something that we wanted to have before we head to that conference in September. Some other cool stuff that we have on the way. I mentioned this earlier in the webinar, but we do have full contract functionality coming to Motion.io. Right now, there is really great signature functionality in Motion.io, but we've had a couple of requests for things that are more similar to a DocuSign, that sort of functionality, and bringing that into Motion.io, where you can map fields, you can have multiple assignees. So that's something that we're going to be working on very, very soon. And then also on the roadmap for later this year is a native payment integration within Motion.io. And that will be something that will allow you to accept payments, send invoices, all directly through Motion.io. The way that we've designed that currently is that you'll be able to connect that to a Stripe account. It's the largest billing provider, so who we've decided to start with, but we'll be sure to expand on that as time goes on. So if there are no other questions, thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been really fun spending my Tuesday morning here with you. Hope you were thrilled to see this new functionality that we've released. And as always, if you have any questions, you need help setting up your new account, be sure to email us at hello@motion.io. You can also, if you're watching this and haven't yet started a trial of Motion.io, you can go ahead and register for a free account by clicking the link that I will go ahead and put into the chat now. And that is just whoops, wrong link there. It's also available on our website if you just type in Motion.io and go to just click any of the buttons that are plastered all over the site. But you can also go to the link that I will share with you right now, which is just app.motion.io/register. So go ahead and check that out, sign up for a free account, and let us know what questions you have. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in to this live stream. Had a really great time joining you here today, and hope everybody takes care and is having a great rest of your summer. Until next time, everybody, bye-bye.